Penguin Random House Audio presents The Divide, a novel, by Morgan Richter. Read for you by Hillary Huber. To Mom, Dad, and Ingrid. Chapter 1. Some Kind of Actress. The first Tuesday of November, it hit 96 degrees. The woman in the silk racerback sundress in front of me in line at the Shell station on Fairfax that morning told the weary, sweaty kid working the register that it was okay, even good, because it was a dry heat, that it would cool off at night, that we're lucky to live in Los Angeles instead of someplace that has to deal with snow and ice for Thanksgiving. I don't know who that woman was, but I know her home has air conditioning. My clinic was stuffy and stifling, and, I was aware, a little smelly. The blue nylon carpet hadn't looked new at the start of my lease 6 years ago, and while I ran a handheld carpet sweeper over the floor each morning, it had been 3 years, maybe 4, since I'd rented a professional steamer to deep clean all the accumulated grime and stink away. As the small room heated up, the sour funk grew more pungent. It smelled like failed hopes, or the unventilated fitness center in an airport hotel geared toward business travelers on a budget. If I'd had any clients scheduled for the afternoon, I'd have lighted some incense to cover it up. No one was scheduled. I sat at my little table, my tarot deck resting on the white plastic surface, hoping for walk-ins while trying to ignore the smell. The woman who entered my clinic looked like the type who'd have strong opinions about the odor. She stood in the doorway and stared at me with what looked like surprised annoyance, as though she'd arrived home to find a despised ex-lover sitting in her living room. "Hello," I called out to her, smiling and professionally pleasant. "Care for a reading?" I gestured at the tarot deck. She stared at me a moment longer, then closed the door behind her and stepped into the room. She glanced around the clinic. She looked first at the 3-foot plastic statue of Kali I kept in the corner. It had been dark brown when I'd picked it up at a yard sale, but I'd spray painted it copper, and from a few feet away, it looked like it could be made of hammered metal. It was surrounded by clean white pillar candles. Those had come from the 99-cents only store. The glass holders had been emblazoned with shrink-wrapped images of the Virgin of Guadalupe and Olaf from Frozen, but I'd sliced off the shrink wrap with a razor, and now, arranged in a cluster, they looked tasteful, like I'd paid $17 a piece for them at the kind of store that sold hand-woven yoga mats and water bottles made of marble. When she spoke at last, her tone was just a hair shy of hostile. "I don't have an appointment. I can squeeze you in," I said. "What can I help you with?" She pulled out the chair opposite me and sat. Her skin was deep brown, and it glowed like she'd just come from an afternoon at a spa. She kept her hair in glossy box braids pulled back and secured at the nape of her neck in a twist. She wore a well-cut navy suit, not expensive but not cheap, over a button-down shirt the color of fresh cream. She folded her hands on the clean white plastic tabletop and leaned forward slightly. She locked her eyes with mine. "My mother passed on 6 months ago. I'd like to see how she's doing." I was shaking my head before she'd finished her sentence. "Sorry, I don't talk to the dead. Don't or can't. It's not a service I offer. Is there anything else I can do for you?" "I thought all you people talked to spirits." It was antagonistic. After a pause, the woman smiled. She smiled like she'd learned the basics from observing people, but had never understood there was more to it than just the coordinated movement of a group of facial muscles. It didn't touch her eyes. "Some do. It's not in my particular bag of tricks." I tried to look serene and composed, though I was sweating too much. My indigo linen tunic, selected off the Goodwill racks because I thought it looked like the kind of shirt someone effortlessly chic and in possession of a lot of disposable income would wear, clung to the wet space between my breasts. I shifted in my chair and tried to discreetly pull the fabric away from my body. I'm an intuitive counselor. Think of me as a life coach, one who can give you insights into your past, present, and future. It sounded smooth and well-rehearsed. A variation on that speech was on the homepage of my business website, for which I paid $12.98 per month in hosting fees. The woman nodded. Okay, I get that. I want that, she said. What do you charge to tell me about myself? For an initial half-hour consultation, that's $50. Beyond that, it depends. Every client's needs are different. She stared at me again, and I felt an almost visceral contempt radiating from her. Some people can't stand psychics, though I didn't see that too often with my clients. By the time someone walked into my clinic, their mind was at least open to the possibility we aren't all total frauds. This woman, though? She knew I was a fraud, which made it interesting when she placed her pebbled leather shoulder bag on her lap, removed her billfold, and counted out 2 crisp $20 bills and a pair of 5s, which she placed on the table between us. I didn't touch it. You can pay me afterward at the register. There will be sales tax, too. In truth, I was generally happy to skip the tax and pocket the cash, but warning bells were telling me to tread carefully. Because this woman was a cop. She didn't look like a cop, but she had the body language of one, that aggressive yet hyper-wary confidence that characterized every police officer I've ever encountered. Not that my experience was extensive. I'd never run into any legal trouble, probably because I'd flown beneath all possible radars. Psychics do get arrested sometimes, but usually that's because someone's been cheated in an egregious way. Their life savings drained, their bank accounts closed, their property deeds signed over. I hadn't taken anyone's life savings, just small nibbles of their cash. Nothing anyone didn't have to spare, and I always gave clients good value for their money. Good enough, at least. I thought about turning the woman away by telling her I didn't like her aura, but that might not be enough to get her out of my hair. And besides, I was curious. What do you want to know about yourself? Whatever you can tell me. You're the psychic. Tell me who I am. Tell me what I came here for. The corner of her mouth pulled in a faint sarcastic quirk. You got it. I reached my hand across the table. She hesitated, then extended hers, palm up. I took it lightly and examined it. Her skin was cool and dry to the touch. By comparison, my hand was a sweaty, meaty paw. There were certain trappings of the psychic trade I avoided. No crystal balls, no astrology, absolutely no chats with spirits. I tried to exist in a nebulous zone between clinical and new agey, aiming for a clientele of upwardly mobile women who were too pragmatic to really believe in the occult, but who, as they liked to tell their friends over glasses of sulfite-free wine, kept their minds open to all possibilities. Palm reading existed on the border of acceptability. Early on, when I'd started this endeavor, I'd checked out a bunch of dusty books on palmistry from the library and had been unconvinced by all of them. But clients expected me to look at their hands, so I'd trained myself to go through the motions. I raised my eyes and met the woman's stare. Your mother is very much alive. You were setting a trap for me because you love your mother and feel protective of her. And if I'd claimed to be in contact with her spirit, it would have validated your belief that I'm a fraud. Her face was immobile. You'd swear I hadn't spoken at all. I continued. As for who you are, you consider yourself a star in your field. You're arrogant about your abilities and your accomplishments, but you have reason to be. Your coworkers don't like you much, but you don't lose sleep over that because you don't like them either. You don't fit in. You're smarter than them. You dress better than them. Your worldview is uncompromising, but with reason, because you see the worst of humanity on a daily basis. The spirit realm doesn't exist for you. Under usual circumstances, you'd never be bothered with someone like me. But today...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?